we're just going to close in prayer, and there. I just went in a 1990s time warp. I feel like I was watching Home Improvement, eating like Big League Chew bubble gum, and listening to, is that Whitney Houston?
Yes.
Yes. All the Gen Zers in the room were like, who? What? Huh? Not 80s, not 90s. I don't know what it is. Man, that was awesome. Can you just give it up for our band for just crushing it this morning? I don't know how we go from like worship to Whitney, but you know, it's good. I liked it. It was fun. Hey, I know you all think I'm like normally hyper. I got an extra hour of sleep last night, y'all. And so, are you ready for it? Right side. Are you guys ready for it? My right side? Overflow. Are you ready for it? Overflow. Listen, you know Overflow didn't get an extra hour of sleep. They just showed up to church a second ago, okay? Just kidding. Love you, Overflow. Online family didn't even try to like get here, all right? They were just like, we watched the Phillies all week, too late. We're going to the online church this morning, honey. But I want to give a shout out online to John and Kim right now. John and Kim are normally like in this section right now, but they're suffering right now because they're on some beach somewhere in Mexico. Okay, so, but John and Kim said that they will be watching, and so I thought on 3 we could just all say to John and Kim, who are in Mexico, we're so happy for you. All right, just like, we're so happy for you. On 3 for John and Kim. 1, 2, 3. We're so happy for you. All right, perfect. All right, I know what you guys are thinking. I can see the confusion on your face. Overflow, I can see through the back wall. I can see your confusion. You're thinking, I know what a porcupine is. I know what dancing is. Now, some of you, I didn't say you know how to dance. I just saw an example. Some of y'all, listen, and I've seen some of you at a wedding doing the electric slide. That is not dancing, all right? You look like you're getting electrocuted, all right? So anyway, but you're thinking, what's the porcupine dance? Who's thinking it? Raise your hand if you're like wondering, what is the porcupine dance? The rest of you, liar, liar, pants on fire, all right? So let me explain the porcupine dance. When I was growing up, my dad did not give me the birds and the bees talk. My mother did. And if I could erase any memory from my life, it would be those 10 minutes, okay? But my dad did give me the porcupine dance talk. And so here's what he said. He was like, son, all relationships are like 2 porcupines dancing together. I was like, Dad, is this your version of the birds and the bees? Because I'm already uncomfortable, all right? That's what I am right now. He said, but think about it. All relationships are like 2 porcupines dancing together. They're just trying to get through the song without hurting each other. I'm like, you went to Woodstock, Dad? Does that happen? But if you think about it, relationships are like 2 porcupines dancing together, all right? Relationships aren't easy. You get out of sync sometimes. You step on each other's toes sometimes. Sometimes they want to stick a porcupine quill in your jugular. Hello? But when you get in rhythm, it's a beautiful thing, right? It's the porcupine dance. It's the 2-step and porcupine boogie, okay? Everybody say thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad, for the porcupine dance talk. And listen, relationships are confusing. You want to hear a couple examples about how confusing relationships can be? Okay, so a few weeks ago, Amy here sent me this text we'll put up on the screen. Okay, she sent me this picture. Now, by the way, Amy and I were texting back and forth because of something we're going to do in the last part of this series. So do not miss November 27th. If you miss, you're going to have serious FOMO, okay? But nothing that we're doing on November 27th has anything to do with these shoes. And so she sent me this picture, and I got my phone, and I showed my wife. I was like, do you think Amy thinks I need new shoes? You think she's judging my current sneaker preacher situation? Long story short, she meant to send this picture to her son, but she sent it to me by accident. But I was like, I like these shoes. I want to get these shoes. Like, look how nice they are. And I found out, she ended up telling me that she got them over here at Nike, and they're normally $130, but she got them for like around $40. And I'm like, praise the Lord, I need those shoes. And so I showed it to my wife. And so that week, one day, I was out running, just taking care of the temple. I was out running. And my wife calls me while I'm running. And she says, honey, I got out of work early. Do you want me to run by the Nike outlet and pick these shoes up for you? Now, I'm running and I'm answering the phone. I don't know if you've ever done this before. And so I'm about to die, all right? But I was like, you don't have to, but if you want to, that would be great. And then Stacy said, well, I don't really want to, but I will if you want me to. I'm thinking, you called me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you called me. And that, like, now you're not sure. And so I was confused. I thought maybe I wasn't getting enough blood to my brain or something. I don't know what was going on. But Stacy, to her, she thought, well, I did want to, but you didn't sound very excited, so I lost my motivation. Guys, I didn't sound excited because I was on mile 4. I was about to die. Relationships are confused. That's the porcupine dance. And here's another example. A few weeks ago, Stacey got this new pair of glasses. And so she said to me, honey, do you like my glasses? Now, I'm not a rookie. This is a layup right here. And so I was like, babe, I love your glasses. I love you even more. You look beautiful. And then she said, they're big. Talking about the glasses, they're big. That's the style now. Do you think they're big? Now I'm confused, okay? So on one hand, she said they're big. She said the style is big now, right? Did you hear these words? And so it seems like you should say, okay, yes, they're big, but saying something about your boot thing is big, it can get you murdered sometimes. But I decided to take a risk, and I was like, they are big? No hesitation. She's like, oh, so you think they're too big? I'm like, no, I don't think they're too big. Unless you want me to say they're too big. What do you want me to say now? Just feed me the line. I will say whatever you want me to say. Everybody say the porcupine dance. Can you relate to this relationship madness? Can anybody relate to this? Oh my goodness, we are complicated people. Some of you more than others. Ladies, that's about you, okay? I'm not even going to mince words, all right? And so how do we dance better together? How do we get back in rhythm together? When we're porcupine-y and we got like 2 left feet and we got 30,000 porcupine quills. By the way, the average porcupine has 30,000 quills, just in case Team Trivia asks you, okay? And so relationships aren't easy, and I'm a fellow struggler, and so hopefully today's talk and this series will help all of us. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm going to use a lot of marriage, like scenarios, stories, fun, but all these concepts are for everybody. Okay, so every single person, and so this will work for you if you're married, this will also work for you like from a parent to your kids, or from a kid to your parents. This will work, towards your boss, your friends, your family. If you're single, this will work for you. By the way, I always like to do this like once a quarter. If you're single, could you just raise your hand right now? And you're going to want to get in on this. If you're single, raise your hand, raise it up, and keep it up. Okay? Just now look around at each other. Once a quarter, you're welcome, all right? But whenever I talk about relationships, I want you to know this, single people. You don't need somebody to be somebody. You already are somebody because God says you are somebody. So hang with me, all of us today. I think this is going to be helpful to all of us because we're all a little relationally porcupine-y. We could all use some relationship freshening up. And here's why you want to freshen up relationally. Because all the studies, all the research says that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your friendships and the quality of your relationships. And so I want a good life. And I want to figure out how to get better at this whole relationship thing. Okay, so today, put on your dancing shoes. We're going to cut a rug together in the Porcupine dance. And this is for all of us. Now, I think if we're going to talk about relationships, maybe the best place to start is the first relationship in the Bible. Adam and Eve sitting in a tree. Kissing. Then up came a serpent like a water hose and said, Eve, why don't you eat one of those? A lot of Sunday school for me. Okay, anyway. So, but I want to rewind before Eve even shows up in the picture, okay? So the way the story goes is that God created Adam as the first man and puts Adam in the garden. And God is creating all this stuff. He's like, I'm going to put some water here. I'm going to put the sun there. I'm going to put a little lake over here. I'm going to put a little honey badger over here. I'm going to put a little pear tree over here. And he's doing all this stuff. And every time he makes something, he's like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Oh, that sun is good. It's all good. Have you ever done that when you've done something good? You kind of tooted yourself up. Does anybody ever do this? Okay, this is me all day long. I'm an expert. I like saying what I do is good. All right, so this spring, I cleaned out our entire attic. And and the reason I cleaned out my attic is because, hi, my name is Joel, and I'm OCD. Hi, Joel. Okay, so I put everything in containers. I have holiday sections. I have thoughtfully placed walkways. I threw a lot of my kids' stuff away. It was great, okay? And so I got the whole attic clean, and then I invited my whole family upstairs. It's like, guys, come here. Look at this. This is good, and I would like you to tell me how good you think it is now, okay? So did anybody do this? You're like, yeah, look, this is something good. And so that's God in the garden. He's like, this is good, this is good, this is good, all this stuff is good. And then I want to show you where we're going to be today. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, which, by the way, if you don't have a Bible, not good, but we got good news for you. We give out these Bibles every single Sunday. They're out in the lobby where the coffee is, so just make sure you take one of those, get some coffee and a free Bible when you leave today. But in the meantime, just check out the screen. And so God's like, everything's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. Then the Lord God said, it is what? Not good. For the man to be alone. I will make a helper. Come on, ladies. Some of you just say, helper, that's the tip of the iceberg. I will make a helper who is just right for him. Now, the word helper here, it's an interesting word, and I don't think it totally catches what God is saying here, okay? So if you look at the original Hebrew, the word helper could mean rescuer. Hello, ladies. You can even go so far, I can't even believe I'm going to tell you this, but you can even go so far with that original Hebrew word helper to be interpreted as savior. I should have never told you all that. All right, we're in a lot of trouble. Okay, but here's what I think God's getting at in this verse. I think God's getting at, we need each other. We need each other. Front rowers, you need those back rowers. Back rowers, you need some front rowers. Eagles fans, you need Cowboys fans because you need somebody to make fun of. Okay, so. But we need each other because the reason we need each other is because God is in the garden. He's like, oh, it's good, it's good, it's good. And then when Adam is alone, that's the first thing. He's like, oh, but this is not good. I need to get my man somebody. Everybody needs somebody. And so being alone is not good. Now, what that means is if you're an introvert, like me, and you might not believe I'm an introvert. You see me out of this building, I am an introvert. I just want to cover my face. But if you are an introvert, you still need other people. If you like to be in nature all alone, all by myself, you still need other people. If you miss social distancing, hello. Some of you, 2020 was your year. But you still need other people. If you just went through a bad breakup and you're like, that's it, I'm not going to talk to anybody, I'm not going to date anybody again, I'm going to be a monk, I'm moving to Tibet. You still need other people because being alone is not good. And so I just got two questions for you today. And this is going to be for all of us to kind of cut a rug in the Porcupine dance. And again, this is, if you're single, some of you are single, you're already on the Bumble app. You're like, it's not good for me to be alone. Okay. So come back to me, hang out with me, because these questions are for all of us. So the first question to ask is this: how do they receive love? So for people in your life, people that you care about, friends, family, kids, like how do they receive love? Another way to ask this is how do they receive appreciation? And this is a great question to ask about your spouse, a great question to ask about your kids, a great question to ask about your friends, a great question to ask about your boss. Come on, get that raise, buddy. How do they receive love? Now, last Sunday after church, my whole crew, we went over here to the neighborhood grill. Applebee's. There we go. 2 for $24. Come on, somebody. Our meal cost $46, though, because I have 2 kids. It was not $24. But we're sitting there, and Nixon, who is my 7-year-old, he's sitting right here. Nora, my 9-year-old, is here. My hot babe of a wife is sitting right across from me. And I had this thought. I thought, we should have a meaningful family conversation in the neighborhood grill. Because, listen, my kids are 7 and 9 now. We can have a meaningful family conversation when we're out. Because I remember taking my kids right over here to the same exact Applebee's when they were newborn. All right, hello. And we would take them after church sometimes, which is right at their nap time. And you know, parents, you know, taking your kids to the neighborhood grill during their nap time is going to turn it into the neighborhood nightmare. So I remember being in there. I remember Nora crying when she was a baby. I remember Nixon laying on the ground at the Applebee's, like flopping like a fish because his food hadn't come out yet, you know. And people who don't have kids yet, they look at you like, my kid will never do that. You wait. You wait. Anyway, that was when they were little, but I'm like, okay, they're older now. Like, we can have a meaningful family conversation. So I said to everybody, I was like, all right, kids, all right, Stacey, I want you to tell me, how can I show you love? Like, how can I show you appreciation? Good question, right? I didn't get what I was looking for, okay? Because right away, my kids go off. They're like, Daddy, how can you show me love? You can give me your money. You can take me to Shall We Bounce today. You're going to let me order anything I want off of this menu. You can let my friends come over all weekend, every weekend. You're not going to give me a bedtime anymore. I don't have to clean Mr. Nibble's cage anymore. I would like more money than you're currently giving me, okay? Can I order anything I want off this menu? You're writing this stuff down, right, Dad? You're paying for our lunch, right, Dad? And I'm like, the wheels are coming off. And Stacey's like, yeah, all those things are the same for me too, okay? But I have picked up on some things that my kids and my wife, what shows them love and appreciation. Like, for instance, my boy Nixon, all he wants is for you to sit and listen to him talk. That's all he wants. And he talks literally all the time. And in fact, wherever he's homesick right now, I'm sure he's talking right now. But his love language is just sit and listen to me talk. My daughter Nora, she talks. Once every 7 months, she talks. She doesn't want me to sit and listen to her talk, but if I bring her home like a gift, if I bring her home a donut, she will be like, thank you, Daddy. And I'm like, you do talk. But she loves that. My wife, her love language is touch, so she just likes me to rub her back, like every single night. She has this whole routine, like she gets closer to me on the couch, and I'm like, But then she starts like doing this thing with her shoulders. I'm like, I know what you're doing, okay? I will rub your back. But listen, how do they receive love? How do they receive affection? And just a heads up, you're naturally going to want to show them love and affection the way that you receive love and affection. Okay, like that's what you're going to want to do. But listen, just because Nixon wants to cuddle and talk on the couch does not mean Pastor Joel wants to cuddle and touch, on the couch and talk on the couch. Okay, but if you clean my car, if you organize my attic, come on. You get me Raven season tickets, I'm going to dance with somebody. Okay, but this is about how do they receive love? How do they receive affection? Come on, Porcupine dancers. All right, this is a good question to ask, and here's why. Because if you're constantly showing people love and affection the way that you want to receive it, then you're not going to get the reaction out of them that you're looking for. Like if I spend hours cleaning the attic and then I call my entire family upstairs and I've cleaned up the attic, I got holiday sections, maybe I vacuumed the attic, don't worry about it if I did, okay, I'm OCD. But I could spend all this time, and then I could bring the family up and be like, guys, look what I did. And they're just looking at it like, cool. We're going to go downstairs and mess up the rest of the house now, Dad, okay? And so, have you ever not gotten the reaction that you're looking for when you put effort into something? Has this ever happened to anybody? Yeah. Man, this kind of stuff happens. And then what happens is, then you start thinking, well, they don't appreciate me. Well, they don't care about me. They don't appreciate me. All right, they can pay for their own darn Applebee's. Right? I'm getting in somebody's business right now. But the hard truth is, that may not be how they receive love and affection. And so all that effort you're putting into showing them love and affection is maybe more for you than it is for them. Like Stacy's love language is not me cleaning the attic. That's my love language. Stacy would rather me just sit and talk to her on the couch and rub her back, which is weirdly harder for me than cleaning the entire attic. But after 19 years, I'm starting to figure some of this stuff out. And you should just know this. When a relationship starts, you can get by for a little while without knowing how they receive love and affection. Right? I'm at 19 years. I'm still figuring stuff out. But you know how at the beginning of a relationship, it's all about the feelings. You know? All you think is, oh, they're so hot. They're so thoughtful. And you're like, oh, the butterflies are flying. The butterflies. I have the butterflies. You have the butterflies. I have the butterflies. But eventually, the butterflies are going to die. Listen, every relationship starts out, you're running through the field to the sound of music, but eventually the soundtrack is Metallica, okay? So you're going to need to figure out, how do they receive love and affection when Metallica is playing? You know what I'm saying? And that takes commitment. Now, speaking of commitment, let's go back to the creation story. Adam was committed to Eve because Adam gives part of his side for Eve to even show up. A lot of times we think, oh no, Adam just gave her a rib, just like a little rib. No. If you look at the original Hebrew, all right, it means a side, or Adam gave a chunk for Eve to show up. Is that commitment? That is commitment. So let me show you what Adam says that the first time he is not alone and he sees Eve. All right, verse 23. At last. Woo! At last, the man exclaimed, this one is bone from my bone. He's starting to rap or something. He's like, this is bone from my bone and flesh from my flesh. She will be called woman because she was taken from man. I don't think we even understand how psyched Adam was. I don't think we get it. Okay, listen. This is the first time Adam has ever seen another human being. And so Eve comes rocking up in the garden and she's naked. It's in the Bible, all right, so. But he sees Eve and he's like, whoa, man, there's something new in the garden today. I like it. And he's like, bone from my bone, flesh from my flesh. And then what he's saying is, I am committed to you. I gave my side for you. My side for you to be by my side. And so, listen, if you want to have a good relationship, you've got to be committed. And one of the best ways you can be committed in a relationship is to figure out, how do they receive love? How do they receive affection? And that's a great question. You can ask them directly, like, hey, to your wife, how do you receive love? How do you receive affection? Same for your husband. Same for your friends. Same for your kids, all right? And hopefully it'll work out better than my conversation at Applebee's. Now, I just want to say this to the guys in the room. Guys in the room, where are you? I see you, but just come on. Yeah, you're here. This can get tricky for us, because if you go to your guy friends, you're like, hey, bro, how do you receive love? They may say, I receive love by you never asking me that question ever again. So you might just want to say, hey, how do you, what can I be there for you for? Is there anything I can do for you? I'll do that and just grunt, But I think this will help all of us, not just the guys. But there's a guy named Gary Chapman who came out with a book in the 90s called The 5 Love Languages. And if you were a Jesus follower in the 90s, you know about Gary Chapman, all right? And so we're going to put those 5 love languages on the screen real quick. And so if you want the Porcupine dance cliff notes, you need to take a picture of this right now or write this down. Because he came up with these 5 categories for how people receive love and appreciation, okay? And just a little heads up. Everybody is like 1 or 2 main love languages. Unless you're my wife, she thinks she's all 5 love languages. But you have 1 or 2 main love languages. So words of affirmation, just being positive about them. Acts of service, cleaning that garage, you know what I'm saying? Receiving gifts. Just some of you like gifts. I like gifts. Quality time, all right? That doesn't mean you're just in the same proximity. It's like quality time, put the phones down, and physical touch, and I'm not going to go into that. There are children in the room. So, but you want to be the king porcupine? You figure out how they receive love and appreciation. You find out their top 1 or 2 love and appreciation, categories, and you will get better Christmas presents. And I just want a 5% commission on whatever it is, all right? But I'm telling you, find this out about them. You can take a love language quiz online. You can go to Google, just look up the love language quiz, and then you just text it to the person. You're welcome. All right, so last question is this. First question is how do they receive love? Last question is this. Am I bringing my best self to the relationship? So to set this up, me and my wife, we started dating back in November 2003. Just let's figure out how long ago that was. That was so long ago that the iPhone wouldn't come out for another 4 years. Flip phones, buddy. Who remembers the flip phones? Oh, yeah. Listen, 2003, the number 1 song was In the Club by 50 Cent. And if you don't know that song, don't Google it, okay? If you do know it, stop thinking about it. You're in church, people. But we started dating in November 2003, just a couple weeks before my 21st birthday. All right, so 21st birthday, mine was wild. In that song, In the Club, that had nothing on my 21st birthday. All right, my 21st birthday, you want to hear about it? Yeah, I didn't go to the club. I went to work. That's as wild as it got for me. That's it. I just went to work because my love language is to be as unexciting as possible. But I went to work all day, and then Stacey and I had just been dating for a couple of weeks, and so I went straight to her house afterwards because she said she had made me a cake. First cake she had ever made anybody. I'm like, take that, ex-boyfriends. So she had, gone to the store, got the cake box, all that stuff, and so this is at the beginning of our relationship. The butterflies are flying. We're listening to the sound of music. There is no Metallica at all, and so I get to her house. I can smell the cake outside the house. I'm like, woo, okay. And so I go and knock on the door, and Stacy doesn't come. Her dad comes. Now, I just started to know Stacy's dad, Jay, and at this point, I was very afraid of him. Because the only thing I knew about him is he had FBI Most Wanted posters all over his garage that was also filled with taxidermy. So I was pretty sure he wanted to kill me. And so I had this thought. I'm like, oh no. What if Stacy's not here? It's just me and her dad. So anyway, he answers the door, and I'm like, hey, Mr. J, is Stacy here? Or we could just hang out and you could show me your taxidermy collection again, and I'll fear for my life. And he's like, well, come on in, Joel. He's like, Stacy's not here right now. She's making you this cake, and she had to run back to the store. And then he started laughing to himself. He's like, I was like, I've never seen this side of you. And he's like, and he said, Stacy had to run back to the store because she thought since there was icing on the cake on the front of the cake box, she thought there was icing in the box. It's her first cake. And that was when me and Jay bonded, okay, right there. But Stacy wanted that cake to be so perfect for me and she forgot the icing, and she's probably going to make me taxidermy for telling this story, but she wanted to go back to the grocery store to make sure she got icing to make that first cake perfect, and it was perfect. That's what you do at first in a relationship, right? I remember our first Valentine's Day, and I think we got a picture from our first Valentine's Day right here. It's coming. It might be coming. There it is. This is us, 2004, Valentine's Day, February 2004. And we dressed up like that to have Valentine's Day at home. Because I made spaghetti, homemade spaghetti for our first Valentine's Day because I'm clueless. And my mom actually took a picture of us eating the spaghetti, which, by the way, if your mom's taking the picture, #fail. Hey, Mom, can you take our picture? Anyway, I'm sure Stacey's like, I thought he was joking when he said he was making spaghetti. Anyway, she's here in Metallica in this picture just a little bit. She's starting to figure it out. But we dressed up like this to stay at home for the first Valentine's Day. And then, have you ever noticed that we tend to bring our best self at the start of the relationship? Like on your first date, you don't pull up in the driveway and beat the horn hurry up. No, you wait till you're married to make that mistake, right? Your first kid, you strap them in their car seat perfectly, make sure you can only fit one finger in there, it's tight. Your second kid, you just put them back there and say, hey, snap it in yourself. If you don't know how to, just tie it around your arm if you don't know. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Your first girls trip, maybe you go on a first with a new group of girls, okay? The first girls trip, you barely gossip about Becky, right? But the second girls trip, you're throwing Becky under the bus, okay? You're running over Becky because we tend to put our best foot forward at the beginning of the relationship, which is why if you're dating right now, number one, you should still put God first in your life, especially if you're dating right now. And number two, give the relationship lots of time. All the married people go, Give it lots of time. Here's why you want to give it a lot of time. You want to figure out who they are. You want to be able to figure out how to answer questions like, how do they treat their parents? How do they handle stress? How do they handle money? Hello. What are their values? Do they share the TV remote? Now we're getting somewhere, right? I heard this guy say one time, he said, never marry somebody until you see how they react when the Wi-Fi goes down. I would fail that test right there. I would fail it. But what are you doing? You're trying to figure out who they really are. And what you're trying to get at is, are they going to be a giver in the relationship, or are they going to just be a taker in the relationship? Or are they going to be your teammate, or are they going to think they're LeBron James? Just give me the ball, I'm everything. I'm a superstar. Listen, you don't want to marry LeBron James. I mean, you might want to marry the LeBron James because he's got a lot of money, but in general, you don't. He's married, people, so get your head right. But you want to marry a teammate, somebody who's a giver, and not just somebody who is a taker. And it takes time to see who they really are. And if you're going to bring your best self, you're going to want them to bring their best self, right? Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, so we want them to bring their best self. And so back to all relationships, not just if you're dating. Here's a great question to ask as a spouse, as a parent, as a friend. Is this, and we'll put it on the screen. Am I continuing to bring my best self? Am I continuing to bring my best self? Because after you've been married for a while, after you've been a parent for a while, after you've been friends for a while, porcupines, we like to get in the lazy boy chair. Am I right? And so are you continuing to bring your best self? When was the last time you planned a date? When was the last time, you called just to check in? When was the last time you didn't say exactly what you were thinking? Hello. Another great question to ask is, what's it like to be on the other side of me? What's it like to be married to me? If I had a mic, I would go, drop that thing. And so the reason we want to know what it's like to be on the other side of us is because a lot of times we're just thinking about, well, they didn't do this, and they don't read my signals, and they're not texting me back, and I saw it says delivered, so they got the message, okay? But what are we really like? What's it like to be on the other side of us? I'm going to end with this. Does anybody else's kids steal their phone all day, every day? Is it just the pastor's kids? Okay, Nate's kid. Okay, listen, and at this point in my life, my kids are 7 and 9, nothing is mine anymore. My phone's not mine, my garage isn't mine, even the toilets in my house are not mine, okay? They just leave things in there, okay? So it's just, nothing is mine anymore. The only thing that's mine are the bills. They're like, you take care of that, Dad, and then, we want everything else, okay? So my kids take my phone all the time, and they take 975 selfies of themselves, all identical selfies. They take videos of themselves, and in the videos, no lie, they'll be like, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Yep. Hit the like button, smash that subscribe button. I'm like, no, this is going on my phone, kids. This is not YouTube. This is my phone. Anyway, so I found some pictures my kids have recently taken on my phone, and so we'll start cycling through some of this. Like here's one that Nixon took right here. Like, okay, this is the message, son. Here's one Nora took, and she's just extreme close-ups, always. And this was like one of 90 that looked exactly the same. Here's another one I just found on my phone that my kids took. I'm like, you have no respect for your father, kids. This week they made a mini movie. Here's just a quick clip of the mini movie that they made.
Go. Man, he crazy.
This is what I find on my phone, okay? Does this happen to any other parents? You just find random stuff all over your phone. So I was running out of memory the other day, so I'm going through trying to delete some of the videos that they think are going up to YouTube and all this stuff, and so I found this video on my phone that my kids had, or Nixon had filmed of me, and I didn't know he was filming me. And so I'm like, oh, this would be cool, kind of see me. And so I'm like, it's behind the scenes. Nixon is filming it. He's kind of in my blind side, so I don't know he's filming it. And so I'm in the kitchen just cutting up chicken, and I'm like, oh, look at me, taking care of my family, providing food for them. Okay, so I was like, this is starting out good. And then Nora walked into the frame, and I'm like, girl, you need to get your baby dolls. I've been asking you all day to get your baby dolls. They're all over the house. I'm going to get rid of all the toys. I'm like, I watched it. I'm like, I didn't sound like that. That wasn't the tone I used. I think these kids are editing videos. Stacy, I think the kids are into video editing now. I didn't think that's what I sounded like. And so, do you want to see the video? You want to see it? Yeah, I'm not showing it to you. I deleted it. Never going to. You already know enough bad stuff about me. But that was kind of eye-opening for me. And kind of knowing what it's like to be on the other side of us helps us know what we need to delete out of our lives, what we need to delete about ourselves. And so what's it like to be on the other side of me? What's it like to live with me? What's it like to be my friend? What's it like to watch a Ravens game with me? Hello. And how am I going to know how to show my family, my friends, my wife, my best side if I don't know what I'm really like? Because guys, wrapping this up, we're all porcupines. We all got 30,000 quills, all right? And you all who are Steelers fans know I've given you a couple quills over the years, right? And so I don't know about you, but I want to give my family, my friends, the people who are on our team here, I want to give them my best self. And so to do that, we need to know who we really are. I don't want to ever take the people that I love the most for granted. And so I got 2 questions for you guys that we went through today. We're going to put them on the screen so they're together. And so I just want you to take a picture of this, write it down, whatever. But how do they receive love? And am I bringing my best self to the relationship? How do they receive love? And am I bringing my best self to the relationship? Can you guys this week, can you do this? Ask these questions? Yeah, okay. I ain't going to do therapy for all y'all, so listen, this is the therapy, all right? But am I bringing my best self, and how do they receive love? And if you're going to do this for me this week, just do a dab for me. That's the best dancing we can do. Come on, dab for me. Okay, that sounds good. Let me pray for you guys. God, I'm very thankful that you have given us grace in relationships, and there's so much relationship advice that we can get just out of the beginning of the Bible where Adam is created, and he's alone, and you're like, oh, it's not good. And so God, you put people in our lives. You have put some great friends in my life. You put a great wife in my life. You put great family members in my life, great team members here at the church in my life. And so God, I know the value of surrounding ourselves with people who help make us better. And so, God, I just pray that you will help make us better in those relationships. Help us to know, like, how do they receive love? How do they receive affection? And how to apply that in a relationship, because that will make relationships so much better. And God, help us to know, or help us to bring our best foot forward, because it's so easy to kind of get, just chill out and just get used to a relationship and not continue to bring our best self. And so, God, help us to bring our best self. Help our relationships, all of them, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a relationship between a mom and a dad and a mom. And so, God, help us in all of our relationships. And we're thankful for the grace you give us. In Jesus' name, amen.